I'm Diane Hall with AARP Missouri, and I'd like to welcome you to Functional Movement. This is the 5th week of our 8-week class created by and led by Tyler Ferguson, who is putting the fun in functional movement. I hope that you're beginning to see changes in your abilities by now. For those of you that are new, you can pick it up right where we are, but for those of you who've been with us for a while, I'm thinking you're going to start to see some changes. Functional movement is designed to both build strength and flexibility to carry out everyday tasks and let you improve your fitness level, regardless of where you're starting from. And speaking of fitness, you can find many of our previous fitness classes on Missouri's YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/AARPMO. Functional movement is a class that's suitable for many levels of fitness. However, I'll say it again, you know your own limitations. Please do not try to go beyond what you know is right for you. If you have any concerns at all, please check with your doctor before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offering. AARP Missouri also offers other live classes. Currently, our Zumba Light class, I think, just had their last one, and we have a new class, and I should know the name of it, and I don't know. But the links to all these programs, both past programs like Forever Fit and Yoga with Tyler, you can participate in from recordings, and you can find current ones, the past ones, all on our aarp.org/movingit page. And that will take you to all of our offerings, past, present, and future, aarp.org/movingit. All of our programming is created with people age 50 plus in mind, but it's good for anyone of any age, anywhere. AARP hopes that fitness classes like functional movement will be great options for anyone who may not be able to or may be hesitant to attend a traditional fitness class like a caregiver, or somebody who maybe has health concerns or just wants the convenience of working out at home. In addition to our online resources, in addition to our online classes, AARP also has resources for caregivers, some up-to-date COVID-19 information, technology information, and it's all on our website at aarp.org/nearyou. Now, let's get started with our functional movement. Our instructor is Tyler Ferguson. Tyler, let the fun begin.
Thank you, Diane. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all today. And I just wanted to share, I'm coming to you from a new spot. This is my own home because I am caring for my mom. She's here staying with me, and we're having kind of a rough day today. So I have the fortunate convenience to be able to provide this class from my own home where I can hear mom. I have my door open, which means the cats will be joining us too. This is Ozzy. He'll be helping out today. Zola will pop in soon enough, I'm sure. Let's all come to standing. And bring your feet about hip distance apart, and see if your toes can track forward. We have a tendency sometimes to stand with our toes turned out. So does that mean taking the heel out to get the toe forward, or does that mean bringing the toe in? Whatever it works for you, can you bring your toes forward without pain? Good. And then rocking back and forth in the feet just a little bit. Allow the tissues of the feet to expand and warm up and maybe make more contact with the floor. From there, bring your hips over the arches of your feet and your shoulders over your hips and your ears over your shoulders. So get nice and tall here. And notice if you lock out your knees when you try to stand tall. Notice where you pull from to try to stand tall. We want to stand with a slight bend in our knees, nice and relaxed. Try not to pull back and lock out and stack your bones. You want to have knees bent, and you want to rely on muscles to hold you in your spot. From here, we're simply just going to breathe. I'd like for you to inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Continue inhaling and exhaling through your nose, with a few points to consider. I'd like for you to inhale and notice and feel expansion, maybe in the rib cage moving wide, maybe in the back ribs reaching to the back of the room, or even some fullness in your belly. On your exhale, can you feel the opposite happen? Can you feel the space that you created in your torso collapse back or move back to the midline? Also, as you continue to breathe like this, there are benefits to breathing through the nose. There are tons of benefits to this conscious breathing, but you want to be in your nostril breathing. That moistens, breathing through the nostrils moistens and filters the air before it goes into your lungs. So that's the optimal way to take air into your body. So if you're a mouth breather, you're not getting the benefit of that filtering of the air. Okay? And also, if you breathe through the mouth, you're exiting out more moisture. So you'll have a tendency to dehydrate or lose more moisture. So you need to drink more water if you mouth breathe. So this is called conscious breathing. We don't need to pay attention and manipulate how we breathe in order to get in air, but we're doing this exercise so that we breathe more optimally. Final round of breath. Exhale, let it all go. We'll just begin by connecting the breath to the movement. So inhale the arms out wide. You're kind of rounded here like you have a beach ball. And then exhale, squish the beach ball. So we have a bit of an isometric hole or isometric movement in the arms. Or it's not isometric, we're pretending that the beach ball is heavy. We're squishing it. So inhale the arms, the beach ball is pushing us wide. Exhale, it's a really stiff beach ball and we're squeezing it close. Good. Inhale one last time. Connecting breath to your movement, exhale. So that's another way of conscious breathing, being mindful to connect your breath to your movement. If it's safe in your shoulders, bring your arms up overhead and we're just going to work the neck, the cervical spine. So lift your eye gaze up, your chin is going to reach up. And then exhale, chin down to chest. Do this 2 more times, but do it really, really slow. So you could just go, oh yeah, we're in the warm up, up, down, up, down, up, down. Come on, let's move on. But I want you to move really slow and notice, where is my in range? And as my chin reaches to my chest, what am I feeling? What sensations are coming on? What space do I feel like I'm creating in my body? What spaces feel tight or constricted or uncomfortable? So 3 times, chin up, chin down, lateral flexion of the spine. Then bring your arms out to the sides. I like to spread my fingertips and reach. One thing that can be challenging is to get that elbow fully extended. So you're hugging your biceps and triceps to the bone as you do that, and then rotate and look over left shoulder. You're rotating your neck. Come back to center and rotate and look over right shoulder. Keep moving with me 3 times. Again, you could just go back and forth and stay unconnected. But can you move a little bit more slowly and notice, am I tilting my head? Am I drawing my chin down? Am I bringing an ear down to one side? Or can I strictly just participate in this rotation? And what else am I doing? Am I gripping my toes? Am I clenching my jaw? Am I sighing in my forehead? Or can I simply do that movement? And drive your knuckles down to the ground. I'm in airplane mode. I don't know why that happened. Drive your knuckles down to the ground here, and then bring your right ear down to your right shoulder. Left jaw pulls up and away. Inhale. Chin down and switch. Left ear comes down to the shoulder. Right ear pulls up and away. Chin down and switch. Right ear down. Left ear pulls up. And chin down and switch. Left ear comes down. Right ear pulls up. When I come chin down, I bend the knees a little bit just to absorb some pressure or some force. And final side, left side, chin down and switch. Come back to center. Shrug your shoulders up to the ears and then draw them down and away from the ears. And notice, as the shoulders move up to the ears and back down, your scapula or your shoulder blades are moving up and down on the back side of your body. Now bring your arms in front. And if you reach your knuckles forward, can you feel your scapula separate from each other on the back? So they kind of round forward and then pull your scapula back together. You're not bending at the elbow when you do this. Punch your knuckles forward, feel the scapula separate, and then pull the shoulders back, pull the scapula back together. So when we do chest expansion, I cue this movement in the scapula. We're just finding it here without adding any movement in the spine. Simply bringing shoulder blades forward and shoulder blades back. Now, can we put those 4 points together? Elevate, pull it back, depress or make it go down, and then let it go forward. Shoulders separate, shoulders come up, shoulders pull back, scapula comes together, shoulder scapula move down, shoulders move forward, scapula opens, move forward. So you might hit those 4 points, that box. You're creating that box, staying connected to that box, or you might begin to make more circular motions as you work through that box. And then can you take your motions in the other direction, staying connected to that movement and finding that mobility in our scapula. So if you're dealing with a scapula that's stuck, we want to unstick it possibly and get more mobility, and that's going to influence your arm movement. All right, let go. Let go of all of that. Let's go back to the spine, come into a bit of a chair pose. We're going to take our spine into extension. So lift your heart, bring your shoulders back, pull the elbows back a little bit, and lift your tail. So you should feel an arch in your back here. And then do the opposite. Press your back up to the ceiling, tuck your tail, draw your chin down to your chest. Let's move in between those two. So we're in a standing cow pose, heart and chest pull forward, gaze lifts, tail lifts, and then press away. Back rounds, tail tucks, chin comes to chest. You can feel the scapula moving in this one as you heart comes forward, shoulders, scapula come back and together. Inhale, exhale, push away and round and come up to standing. Let's move down to the toes. Feet are hips distance apart. Lift and separate the toes, spread them out nice and wide. Place them back down on the floor. From here, I forgot our lateral flexion. So your fingers can go back behind your head or in front. And we're just going to bring one elbow down to the floor as opposite elbow comes up. We're going to stay on the same side. So my right elbow is coming down. So I'm going to cue that. So before I head down, I create space. I lift and lengthen. I pull the left rib up and away from the pelvis. And then notice how the elbows are working in tandem. This right elbow goes down to the floor. Left elbow reaches up to the sky. Whatever elbow is up to the sky, can you equally push down through the foot on the same side of the body, creating more length? There's this idea in yoga of rooting down in order to rise up. And I like the analogy. If you tried to pull a zipper up with only one hand, it would be hard to create that tension to create length in the zipper. But if you use the bottom hand to hold your jacket while you pull up the zipper, you get more tension. And that's the same thing we're doing here. Let's switch it to the other side. So as my elbow reaches up to the ceiling, I'm also pushing down with the foot on the same side of the body, creating more length, more tension in that side of the body. All of these movements today, I want you to move at a speed that matches you. So if I get talking and I start to speed up on any of the movements that we're doing today, and you're like, what's she doing? I had this nice flow going. Just stay right with your flow. The reason I'm here is really to tell you what's next and to also help you put your mind into your body and connect to some of the movements that you're doing. So I want you to choose the pace and the depth and the expression that works best for you. Let's do one more. Over on the opposite side here, push down through opposite leg. Maybe breathe into the rib cage and come back down. Now we'll go back down to the feet, lift and spread the toes. This time, just put your big toe down. Keep the remaining 4 toes up. This is a pretty big challenge. So if it's not accessible for you today, this is an idea or a guide of where we can go. Now put those 4 toes down and lift just your big toes up. So you might start to feel some sensation in the top of the foot, maybe even a little cramping as you try. Big toe goes down, 4 toes go up. Now the big thing here is you don't want to rock and roll on your feet. So put all 4 toes, or all 4, I'm a goat, all 10 toes down on the ground. Feel your big toe mound, your piggy toe mound. So feel that. Now, as the big toe comes up, you're not rolling in and taking that piggy toe mound off. And then same is true when the big toe goes down and the four toes lift up. I'm not rolling in or rolling out. Last time, 4 down, 1 up, 1 down, 4 up. And then just start to wiggle the knees, release. That knee wiggle is just a reminder not to lock out. What happens is we concentrate, we start to tense up, shoulders come up, right? Jaw starts to tighten, knees start to lock. So we want to keep this buoyancy and looseness in our body. Now, I asked you not to rock and roll, but I'd like to do it here now that we're not doing our toe challenge. So I'm just rolling to the inside edges of my feet, outside edges pop up, and then roll to the outside, the inside edges pop up. If this doesn't feel great to you, you can always hold on and just do 1 foot at a time. And only take it to the place where it feels good and safe in your body. I like rolling to the outside edges. I feel a really nice stretch just above the ankle on the outside of my lower leg. I think those are the peroneal muscles that we're stretching there, and that just feels super good to me. We're also getting some ankle mobility here and some ankle strength as we do that, which is all important in your balance. And then finally, our last challenge with our feet and ankles, simply stack the shoulders over the hips. Oh, I wanted to make this point. When we do our toe work is we look down and our shoulders come in front of our hips. When we try to lift, we're going to fall forward. So before we lift, bring the shoulders over the hips, find an eye gaze or a place to look that's not at the computer, and then just lift the heels up into the air. You can hold on to a chair or a wall for this, and then try to lower down. 3, 2, and 1. 2 more times. Shoulders over hips, draw navel into spine, turn on your glutes a little bit, press yourself up. Nice and tall, heels up into the air. I just have my hand to show that I could be using a balance, and then lower it down. 3, and 2, and 1. Heels touch the earth. Final time, send your heels straight up. Pausing, balancing here. Continue to breathe as you do this. Lower the heels down. 3, and 2, and 1. Wiggle out those legs. Come into a little squat with me. Whatever depth works for you is fine. And if you'd like to take the feet just a little bit wider. So this is one of those things where if it feels better in your knees just to get a little bit wider for these squats, feel free to do that. So we're going to lower down and then press up nice and tall. So what I want you to focus on here as we start with our squats is first connecting the breath to your movement. So where are your inhales and where are your exhales? And it doesn't really matter where they are as long as they're present. And I like to connect one phase of the breath with one reflection of the movement. Here I inhale, here I exhale. You can do the opposite, that's fine, but just connect your breath with your movement. Also, as your heart rate increases, it becomes a little bit more challenging to exhale through the nose. If you need to exhale through the mouth, feel free to do that, but continue to try to inhale through the nose. If you'd like to speed this up a little bit or go a little deeper, that's fine with me. And obviously, slowing it down a little bit is fine with me too. As you drive up, find your heels, find the front of your heels where the heels meet the arch of your feet. So it's kind of like that midfoot. Drive through the midfoot, and you're sending your glutes and your hips forward into full extension. So that should feel good on your hips to get in full extension. Use your glutes, turn them on to find that full extension in the hips. So squeezing your glutes will just open up the front of your hips and give them a bit of relief from prolonged seated position or prolonged flexion because of seated. Good. Let's go 3 and 2 and 1. Now, some of us, we're just going to step wide and come back. All right. Some of you are going to stay right there. Others are going to get into a wide stance, and we're going to squat and stay there just with a wider squat. Still others, you're going to squat wide and tap. Squat wide and tap. If you're choosing this third option, make sure you're bending both knees and your squat or your pelvis is equally between your feet. We're going to add on to this today and have a little balance challenge. You don't have to do the balance challenge, but you can if that's where you are in your practice. You could hold on to a chair, single leg balance, single leg balance, single leg balance. So the same is true. You're driving through the front part of that heel. You're finding extension in the hip. Remember, some of you might just be stepping out to the side, stepping back. Others, you might be stationary in your wide squat. Others, you might just be tapping. Good. 2 and 1. Let's all come to standing. Bring your legs together. So we're in a narrow stance here, and we're just going to squat narrow. So you'll notice, feel how that challenges your balance to have your feet together as you squat narrow. So the wider your base of support, the more stable you're going to feel. So this is a challenge in lessening our stability. Good. 3. Emphasizing sending hips forward. When the hips come forward, the spine doesn't arch. So the ribs don't go forward, just the hips. If you're standing and your ribs are flaring or opening up forward, you're going to hurt your lower back, okay? Let's move over to the left side. Remember, some of you, this is all you're doing, just stepping side to side. That's fine, you stay right there. Some of you, you're going to stationary squat wide. That's fine. Some of you are going to stay right there. Others, you're going to tap, go wide again. Each time we go wide, this is where you check in and make sure your pelvis is in between your feet. Still others might try this balance challenge. So we're all in different places. We're all choosing the version of the exercise that works for us. And feel free to play around with the exercises. If I leave you here too long in this balance and you're just like, my leg is done, why are we still doing this? Go back to just stepping wide. Okay, so you have lots of options throughout the exercise. I'm just kind of showing you where we are by doing this one. Connect your breath to the movement. 3 and 2 and 1. Come to standing, zip it all in. Narrow your feet together. Now we're going to press up we're going to squat and press up. Lower it down, press it up, lift the heels. Lower it down, lift the heels. Obviously, modify this if you need to. If the feet together just isn't working for you, you can separate them. It's okay. This is just a challenge for you. Let's go one more time. Can we hold it up? Can we hold the heels up? Squeeze everything in. Try to squeeze your heels and your ankles in. And release and let it down. Take your feet super wide. By super wide, I mean wider than the shoulders. And then turn the toes out a little and spread the arms out wide. We're in star pose here. Really reach through the arms. And then rotate the palms up, rotate palms down, up and down. Now start to squeeze the glutes a little bit. Your knees might feel like they're in a little bit of lockout here. So find that micro bend, but super duper turn on the glutes, feel opening in the hips, and then we're just we're bringing our arms up and down. So we're finding external rotation, internal rotation, external and internal. Keeping extended through the elbow. Good. And then from here, clap above, push down. Palms turn up to clap, palms come down to the sides. So if you have a shoulder injury and you can't reach up ahead, up above, just reach out in front. So you might feel some heat in your delts, in your arms, and that's the goal. We're building up some heat, getting a little bit of arm workout added to our leg workout today. 3, might have some burn. 2, shake your wrists if it becomes too much. 1, now I want you to reach up like you're climbing a rope and then pull that rope down. So remember in our warm-up before, we reached for the stars. This is just a little bit more active version of reaching for the stars. We still have the legs spread wide in a power stance. We still have the glutes turned on, right? Turn them back on if they're not. And then each time you reach, you're making a fist and you're pulling that fist down in front of you. And then I was moving side to side more than I wanted to, like a side bend. Just reach straight up and pull down. 3 and 2 and 1. Blade your arms out, and then just bring the pinky fingers back just a little bit. Little pulses for your shoulder blades. Now notice my ribs aren't flaring and my back isn't arching when I do this. Wide power stance. Just find those little pulses back, bringing the shoulder blades together. You might feel some tension in your neck. Start to move your cervical spine, move the neck, take away the tension, and then release. Let it down. All right, that's a lot of arm work, a lot of shoulder work, but I wanted to make sure that I added arms to your leg workout, which is what we promised to do halfway through. It's week 5. We're going to feel a lot more arms in week 5. Keep your legs nice and wide, and then bend your right knee. You're going to hinge at the hips and send your hips back behind, and then pull your right hip behind your right heel. Chest is pretty upright here. I don't want to see your shoulders down below your waist. It's a lot of strain on the low back. So try to keep the chest up. We're just using the knee to drop the butt. Good. And then I'd like to see you switch. Straighten out one leg, pull the hips behind, come behind the other leg. So can you shift between those two places? So you don't have to get super low as you do this, but can you bend knee and lengthen opposite legs? Hands can be on each leg as you do this. And just be mindful that as you're transitioning between these two places, your hip is hinged a little bit, which allows the glutes to pull back behind the body. If your hips weren't hinged and they were forward, you would just be going into the knees. This is not what I want. I want you to pull back behind, and then notice you're using your back body more. Good. Come over on one side with me and get yourself set up. So look down, get your toes lined up, make sure this feels good in your glutes. And then we're going to lower and press up. So bending one knee, opposite leg remains long the whole time. Can you push down in that opposite leg and make a connection with the earth? And then in the knee that you're bending, remember that spot we found in the heel right before the arch of the foot? Can you drive through there, stand up, squeeze both glutes at the top, both boots at the top. All right, now the leg that's long, take that opposite arm, we'll do a little drum corps, bring it across. Bring it right across so that the elbow is in line with the shoulder. And you're creating a little tension in this work, right? So you're blading the fingers of the hands together, and you're giving me your best gun right now, right? Your best bicep look right now, like you're showing off your biceps. Good. 2 and 1. Pause with me here. This is what it feels like. We want to keep the weight in the backside. We don't want pressure in the knee. We want to be using the glute and the heel. So this is what it feels like when you reach to open a low drawer, or you go in your garden to garden some things. You want to have that weight in your posterior chain. Good. Stand up tall with me here. And then toe heel your feet back together. Bring your arms up, reach up, look up. Exhale your arms down to the sides. One more time. Reach your arms up, look up. Exhale your arms down to the sides. Now we're going to do a little spine activation before we take the other side. Can you bring your chin down to your chest and then start to roll your spine? So now feel the spine rolling in the thoracic spine between the ribs, shoulders, head are going below the chest. And you keep rounding your spine till your hands get on your thighs. We're not going to bring the head below the heart here. We're not going to go to the floor unless you have a forward fold in your practice and you want to get down to the floor more. That's okay. Otherwise, we'll just stop here. And then can you go up the opposite way? So leave your hands and head and shoulders heavy. And can you peel and roll back up? So starting at the base of the spine, stacking everything on top and coming to standing. So that's a roll up. So that just gives us an opportunity to explore that articulation of our spine. So again, shin comes to chest, then the shoulders start to dip forward. And then you feel the back of the spine round. And again, you might just pause with your hands on your thighs. If you want to roll and get a little bit deeper, you can do that. And then taking it in the opposite direction, using the activation of the glutes, just push up and then start to stack through the spine, but leave the head and shoulders, fingers heavy as you roll back up to the top. All right, that's a little break. So we give us a little break before we do our squats on the other side. Hey, buddy, I'm teaching. Out of here. All right, take your feet wide once again. We'll go back into that lunging pattern that we got into. So this is just a nice pattern. If we shift our weight sort of quickly throughout daily life, we want to pattern this, keeping our hips back, balancing back. Come on over to the left side here. And then when I came over, my foot was too far out. So I had to get it under my body more. So feel that in your own body, what's safe and comfortable for you. And then we're going to bend that opposite knee, press up, trying to maintain contact in our long leg as we press up. Good. You can connect your breath to your movement. And what we're looking for here is, can you find the backside of your body? So you're making a connection from your heel all the way up your hamstring, all the way up the backside of your body into your glute, and trying to put the work back there. Good. If you're getting some knee pain, remember, if you're not pulling your hips back while you do this and you're keeping them stacked and you're just moving through the knee, that's going to put the work in front. So pull the hips back. Good. Let's add that arm and then start to show me your biceps here. Good. And this is where just playing around with this idea of precision can really help bring more tissue online, right? If you squeeze your fingers together, now your hands are working. If you make your elbow point away from the shoulder, the muscles around the elbow are working. Good. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Turn your heels in just a little bit here in this wide stance. Inhale the arms up, hands come together in prayer, and bring yourself down into horse stance. Now, whatever shapes we take during class, you're free to always use a wall or a chair for support in these shapes. Let's just lower down and press up. So just some simple squats. Now, our back is going to change when we squat with this wide-legged turnout. We're not hinging and pulling our hips back behind anymore. Now, I want you to feel as if your back is pressed flat against the wall and you're simply bending your knees out and sliding your back down the wall and then slide your back up the wall. So in other words, your shoulders are over your hips here. You're not hinging forward to do this. So shoulders are over hips as best as you can, as opposed to coming forward, okay? So see if you can map that out in your own body. 2 and 1, pause at the top, turn the toes forward, walk the feet in a little bit, actually walk them into about hips distance. Take your left hips and drop them over to the side, and then swish them back over to the other side. Swish them back and come tall. Now we'll do that in the opposite direction. I'll show you from the side. You're going to drop your hips over to the side. So there is a hip hinge. Swish them back over to that side, and then come forward. And then start to circle that out. Find some juicy hip circles here, just to give our hips a little love. After all, and take your circles the other direction. After that turnout work, we're going to go back into our turnout for a little bit more work. And step it wide. Turn your toes out, bring the heels toward one another. Bring your arms up overhead and knees come out. Now look down. You want your knees to be tracking over about your second or third toe. That's actually pretty hard. External rotation is really tough in my hips. If you feel yourself rolling to the inside and your outside edges are up, work really hard to push your knees open to get those outside edges down. Keep the knees pushing towards the piggy toe. All right, here we are in sumo squat. Let's lift the right heel and lower it down. Right there. We're just lifting the heel, lowering it down. I want you to pay attention to how you lower it down. Are you connected as you're lowering it down, or do you bang it into the floor? So can you lower it down? Keep going with some control. All right, I was just reading my chat. With control. And then let's switch to the opposite leg. If you need to come out of this and stand up and go back into this horse pose or goddess pose, by all means, feel free. I've switched over to my opposite leg. We're going into the foot fold here. We've warmed up our foot fold in previous classes, but you should feel your big toe mound and your piggy toe mound on the floor as the heel lifts, as the foot articulates, and then you want to lower down with control. Last time, push it up and lower down with control. Stand up nice and tall with a wide stance. Your hip circles aren't going to be as big, but you can just find some movement in the hips and then toe, heel, your feet in to hips distance apart. We're going to work on our chair tap balances here. So start in a chair pose. Yeah, sitting only as deep as it works for you. Shift the weight into your left leg by peeling the heel up on the right leg. So just your toe is your kickstand. And you might practice on lifting and tapping, lifting, feeling the balance in that leg and tapping. Pull in a chair for balance if you wish here. Now let's tap to our four corners. So the heel that's lifted, that toe is going to tap out in front and tap back. Tap out to the side, tap back. Tap back behind, come back to center, and then you're reaching behind and coming back to center. Plant that foot down, stand up tall, work out your legs. We're going to do 2 rounds of this, 2 times on each side. We'll switch to the opposite side before we take our second round. So come into chair pose. Keep your weight in your right leg this time, or your opposite leg. That's fine if you went opposite. Peel your heel up in the opposite leg, and then just work on finding your balance. So remember, balance is associated with a number of things, including where you're looking right now. So if you listen to my voice and just look at something in your room, kind of where your eyes just fall, that might help you. All right, now let's take that leg and tap it forward. The moving leg, tap the toe forward, back to center. Moving leg taps to the side and back to center. Moving leg taps back behind and back to center. Moving leg taps behind and back to center. Stand up nice and tall. We're going to do that one more time on each side. This time you can hover the leg when it comes back to center. You don't have to touch. Weight is in the left leg. Peel up the right heel. Tap your right foot forward. Maybe hover or tap. Tap out to the side, hover or tap. Back behind, hover or touch. Opposite side, hover or touch. Last time in the transition. Establish your weight in your standing leg. Lift your moving leg. Let's tap in front, hover or tap. Tap to the side, hover or tap. Now I started speeding this segment up. If you are in your world working on your pace, your speed, you go for it. Good. And walk it out. Now we're going to take some curtsy taps. So my right leg is going to tap behind my left leg, and I'm going to curl the toes down and I'm going to stay here. So squeeze your inner thighs together. You'll see that as you do that, you're getting that external rotation in the hips, and then you're going to lower down, press up, lower down, press up. Trying to show you, lower down, press up. Now my weight is in my front leg. So if the weight's in the back leg, can you shift the shoulders over the hips or even slightly in front so the weight is in the front leg? Now let's lower and tap, lower and tap. If that movement doesn't feel great to you, just stay in this stationary. Don't find that movement. Good. Now you can get your arms to start to play and have fun, right? You can be a little graceful. Yeah, have fun with it. right? Exercise should be fun. We don't have to be serious all the time. 2, connect the breath, and 1. Good. Let's set yourself up on the other side. Step back behind and lower. Now, if something doesn't feel right, make adjustments here, right? What are we looking for? The front leg. We really want to feel that butt work. Again, you're pushing through the heel of that front leg right behind the arch of the foot where the heel and the arch of the foot meet, where they meet. So you can stay stationary right here. Again, back foot, just a guide, just a little kickstand. Work is in the front, or you can get dynamic. Tap. Touch it out. So there's a real cool thing that happens in your body is organizing. So you're trying to figure out, where are my hips? My shoulders relative to my hips in this. That's going to have a lot to do with your balance. If your shoulders are real far forward, or you're bending at the spine a lot, or at the hips a lot, that's going to throw you off. So finding your balance here, and then using your arms as creatively. Yeah, I see people reaching up. That's fine. 3, and 2, and 1. Come back to center. Walk it out. Take your hips wide. We're going to work on a deadlift here. So in a deadlift, we're going to lower the trunk to the ground, but I want you to use the posterior chain again, using your legs. Take the tips of your fingers, put them in the creases of your hips, pull your hips back behind you as your flat back starts to lower towards the earth. Shoulders are going to be in line with the hips. Let the arms hang down like you're picking up grocery bags or something kind of heavy. Push through the heels, squeeze the glutes, and rise up, shoulders over hips. Send the hips back and lower. You should feel hamstrings, glutes, posterior side, that's your back side working. What I don't want you to feel is any work happening in the spine here. You're not rounding in your spine at all. You're keeping your back nice and flat, and you're letting the initiation happen so when you pull yourself up, you're driving through the heels and squeezing your glutes on and forward. So just a little deadlift here. The last 2 weeks, we're going to do single leg deadlifts. So we're just mapping out this pattern, and then we'll move into single leg deadlifts. 2, and 1. Toe heel your feet back together, hands come together. You can round and reach forward. Inhale, see I have a little bit of bend in the knees, a little bit of bend in the waist, and then stand tall. Bring your fingertips to your shoulder and look. Shoot forward, stand tall and look at your fingers. Shoot and round forward, stand tall and look. And shoot forward, stand tall and look. Charlie's Angels. Yeah, somebody noticed that. Can you keep your elbows lifted and wide on this one? Press. Feel the rotation in your neck. Use your eyes. Take your eyes to their edge. The edge of the sockets, the edge of the corner. As you do this, we're exercising the muscles of the eyes here. 2. And this is the last 1. Good. And we'll do a little cool down here. Inhale the arms up. Look up. Exhale the arms down. Now bring the arms up in front of you. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep your arms back behind you and come up. Exhale, arms back behind, bend knees, whoosh, and up. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Arms come down to the sides. Take your feet a little bit wide. Hip hinge over. If you have a chair, you can stay right at a chair here. If you feel comfortable going a little bit lower, notice my head is still pretty much above my heart here. You're just going to walk your fingers on this imaginary floor over to the left side. I haven't frozen. I'm just pausing as we stretch on the left side. And you can walk your fingers on the imaginary floor or on your chair over to the right side. This feels so good on my inner thigh. If your heart rate is at a okay and you want to take the fingertips to the floor. I know that's not accessible for a lot of people, so I want to show you it's an option, but it's not expected. You could do this on your chair. Keep your hand right there on your chair, your other hand back around. Good. Come back to center. Now, let your head and arms hang heavy, and let's try that. Peel up, roll up, stacking the spine one final time. Bring your arms up, lift up, look up, inhale, and exhale, release, and let it go. All right, my friends, it was a pleasure working with you today. We added some levels onto our workouts, and next week we're gonna do a very similar workout, a little bit quicker pace, a little bit higher levels. Thanks for coming. See you next time.